Hello and welcome. I am Raziel, and so today is about talking about a different company which I think you should support and play their games because variety is the spice of life, and I'll use the analogy again that tabletop gaming is like having a games console and playing a single game or a single company's game. The tabletop is your console and the games are the games, obviously, right? And today it might be a bit of a gushy video because I am going to talk about one of my favourite companies of all time. That is Warcradle. Warcradle make two really big games. Armored Clash is coming soon. They also make some slightly smaller games like IPs and board games. But we're going to focus on their two big games today, which is, of course, Wild West Exodus and Dystopian Wars. Now, Warcradle really want to build a community. They are very community focused, and I think this is a fantastic thing. See, if you go on Facebook, you'll see Warhammer 40k page, the official Warhammer page, Horus Heresy page. With Mantic, you see the official Mantic page, official Kings of War page, and stuff like that. Whereas with Warcradle, they don't have pages for their games. They have Facebook groups. And yes, the developers are the admins and the mods. And this just shows that they want to build a community where people can sit and talk about their games, but not be spoken at. Not have, the company just say, hey, this is what we're showing off today. Talk about it. It's show us your models. Talk about it. Have fun. Enjoy this group and talk about the hobby in general. And that is usually the consensus of the mods, where you're talking about the hobby. And it's great, but they do this and they have this very much customer interactive viewpoint where you feel like you actually get a say in what they're doing and you can voice your complaints and your worries anytime you want because they're there, as long as you're polite and stuff like that. Like, you're not going to go there being rude and where the hell is this model, blah, 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 blah. Why aren't you supporting this game, blah, 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 beat you, blah, 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 right? Being polite. Like, when are we going to see more stuff for Wild West Exodus? And we know we're getting some stuff soon. I think later this year, which I can't wait for. But this idea, and the fact that you actually do go through it with having groups, official groups, where you can talk about the hobby, and yes, the devs do get involved. Even the author gets involved. Sarah Corcott, I've seen her there quite often, and just shows that they are wanting to build a community around their games. And that is just fantastic. I love that idea. Now, let's talk about the games themselves. First up is Wild West Exodus. It is my favourite game of all time. I love this game. It's a fast-paced skirmish game. It lasts about 2 hours for a decent-sized bot game. And going back to Warcradle, they kind of have this gimmick mentality, I don't know what you want to call it, of one box. That's all you need to play the game, is one box. It may be a posse box or a battle fleet, whatever, you just need that single box to play the game. You don't have to go out and buy thousands of models, spend lots of money. You spend the money on the one box you want, and you're set throughout the game. You can add to the boxes, of course. No worries, you can grow your army. The rules of Wild West Exodus are robust enough to be able to include a bigger army, even a full squad, a full army of about 500 points, which is a massive game. They do tend to have the lower points value. There's nothing like, this model's like 300 points. It's basically things like 15, 20, 21. A lower points value. And which is a fantastic thing. I like the fact that they aren't trying to go, oh, this is 300 points. It sounds so magnificent and great. And you went, yeah, but is it really? Whereas something like 16 points or 21 points, it seems so much closer together that you can feel that it feels balanced with the point system. Again, this is a really good thing, having these smaller point values makes it feel so balanced. And the game does feel really balanced, which is always a good thing. So, Wild West Exodus is set in an alternative timeline, a part of a dystopian age. I will get to Wild West Exodus. Having a company focus on a single setting rather than multiple settings is absolutely brilliant, because they can tell the story in all their games. They all interact, they all intercede, and you can have this full-on story without, and you can focus on it as a company and have your lore written around it without having to split people up into this. This is fantasy, this is science fiction, this is historical, stuff like having them all focused on a single setting is a great thing. Anyway, Wild West Exodus is a fantastic game. So these are the models from the starter set. You have Nikola Tesla there and Gustav Eiffel, Smash and Grab, Liberty Bell, all sorts of stuff. You've got some vehicles in there as well. And what makes me smile about this particular box, if you look at it, with the Union, which is all the guys in blue, you have your Tesla bots, your 3 named characters, and it kind of looks underpowered compared to this. You have your 2 jet bikes, and you have these monocav striders and mono striders, cav I should say, and the monocav there. And it kind of looks overpowered because you go, well, this guy has a lot of vehicles, but this guy has a lot of infantry. It looks, it can look kind of overpowered. But it's that well balanced. This is a nice box to go with. And you have the Enlightened, like I said. It's really nice. It's a nice way of showing off what your models are like in a starter set and how different factions can be. You're not stuck with the same sort of models over and over again. And these are multi-kits as well, as is these. Basically, the box for these and these are the same kits. These are literally the same kits. This just has more on there. But yeah, they're the same kit. So that's a starter set, and I do enjoy it. You have the factions for Wild West Exodus, such as the Enlightened, who are basically science mad and they want to rule the world. And some things are more sort of things you can understand. Lawmen and outlaws make sense. This is a cowboy and Wild West game. You have your Native Americans with a warrior nation, fantastic. And the Watchers are aliens. There's so much variety in the type of models you get. It's not just this is the good guys and this is just those guys but bad. It's very different. None of these factions intertwine at all in their models. Kind of, right, I'll explain this in a minute. So the Hex is usually after the Order. They're very different. The Enlightened are usually after the Union. Again, they're very different in their lore. Even the Outlaws and the Lawmen are completely different, though they would be very similar. The Outlaws aren't the Lawmen who are bad, and the Lawmen aren't the Outlaws who are good. They are very different. And you have things like the Watchers, which are the alien race, another one of my favourite factions. And then you got the next thing, and I'm going to actually do the Watchers on this one. The Watchers, the aliens, okay, a pan-galactic group consists of dozens of species all working together to a common cause. The Watchers have been observing humanity for thousands of years, and they kind of aren't. They don't want to be interference. They don't want to interfere with a race. They want to watch them, and they don't like the fact if other races do interfere. So this is what you get. This is basically your rule set. Okay, this is all the models and all their rules. Okay, every last one of them. And if we come to this Grey Elite, you see where it says unreleased. That basically means that this model is not sold anymore, but they will always update the rules for them. This is just stuff I like Jocasta, the Amber Alpha. This is a fantastic model, and she has some fantastic rules to go with it. Here we go. Let's have a look. Where's my favourite one? This is absolutely nasty. Okay, where is it? Impervious. Ignores fatal quality and negative piercing modifiers. When taking grit checks. That means her armor save is always going to be a 4+. That makes her an absolute beast. And with a fight of 5, so basically hitting on 5s, and an aim of 6, so hitting on 4s, which is weird because, we only got Spiritual Blast, really shows that how strong this character is. And as you can see, she's pretty low points, or high for this game anyway, 22 points. And you have your keywords here: Legendary, Watchers, Human, Amber, Clade, Alpha. And this is the fact that you can have all the rules free of charge and you just download them like this, absolutely fantastic. I think more companies should do this. And then you have their posse's actual rules handbook. So the Enlightened handbook is basically the codex in rules for each posse. So if we go to, I'm on Enlightened here. Let's have a good one here. Discordant Sympathy, Dixie Resurrection. There you go, Dixie Resurrection. Annabelle Hamilton must be included. Good, because she's in the box. You must include 2 units with Confederate and Face traits. They will be in the box. You must include a further unit with the Enlightened trait, which will be in the box. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like, to use this, you just have to buy the one box and nothing else. You don't have to buy Annabelle Hamilton separately to use this detachment. You just buy the box and you get everything you need in it. You may have to include 3 further units. This gives you a reason to grow your army, make it bigger, make it stronger. And they must have the construct or Confederate traits. Exactly. It's just very simple of how it's done. Limitation: you may not include more of any one of any unit except those with the construct and Confederate traits. So if they've got both of them, so if we go to this one, Niamp Jocasta, so basically you'd have to have 2 separate keywords, like a human and amberclade, but with this one it's construct and Confederate. And your bonus is all construct units in the detachment that start with the encounter with a maximum number of models gain the Confederate traits. So it gets a bit of an extra boost to it. And this is stuff that's just having these rules out there and ready, that you just have to play them, and you just need the one box and everything else. And you're not having to buy extra books or buying extra models to play the game. It's all there ready for you to play and build. And it's just great. And finally, one thing I've noticed with other companies, when they do the rule books, they tend to do the core rules, which is, the easy way to play. With Wild West Exodus, this is the rule book. This is everything in it. Everything in this book is one you would, if you got the actual rule book, this is exactly the same book. It has all the lore there. It's a fair whack of lore there, about 50 pages of lore. 60 pages actually. And it's all there. All rules, and they're easily explained, they're fun to read. You have nice bits of artwork, it shows off your models. It shows off their models like this. And it's really cool. The fact they've taken this almost very determined action to build a game which is fun, enjoyable. You can get into it at a minimal cost. You don't have to pay out, big bucks for a full army. You have that single box and you're done. Makes it just so much better. Dystopian Wars. All the things I said about Warcradle, the one box thing, all still counts here. They all count here. Exactly the same thing. You do have some different factions. Well, this is a naval game. Unlike the other one, which is a skirmish game, this is a naval game. It's got lots of ships, aircraft, strange looking aircraft as well, which is just fun. I'm not even joking. There's literally flying cities and robot dragons. They have big mechs, bigger than Titans, to be honest with you. These things are massive. And yeah, once again, you've got all the factions here. Alliance, this is basically France. Commonwealth, this is Russia and Saudi Arabia. Crown, Britain. Empire, the Far East, China, Japan, Thailand. The Enlightened, Mad Scientist again. Imperium, this is like Germany and Scandinavia sort of area. Sultanate, again, this is kind of Saudi Arabia, but more westward, like Egypt, stuff like that. And the Union, once again, these are the good guys. They are the Americans. And this is, once again, we see exactly the same thing. It shows that they are so wanting you to play this game that they are happy to show you it. You have the unit cards again. This is all your things you need to play each one. Pity there's no picture of them. You kind of have to know which one it is. Kind of ashamed, to be honest with you. And I have no real problem with this. Because once again, you've got all the rules straight away at hand for you to play. And you have this thing called the Orbat. This is like the Wildest Exodus faction handbook. This is basically your codex. It has all the rules you need to play your game, all the rules for your faction, and as you can see, 41 pages for all of this. And it's all, like I said, it's free of charge. You don't have to pay out anything for this book. And I love it. All About stands for Order of Battle. And I think this is absolutely amazing that a company's willing to sort of show off what they can do. Just say you just need to buy the one book, you need to download the rules, you need to download your Orbat or your handbook, and you're done. That's all you need to do to play the game. Obviously, you need dice measurement and everything else, but that's it. That's all you need to do to play the game. And you're ready. You're good to go. And I think it's fantastic. Now, I'm going to show off some models. I'm going to show off some Wild West Exodus first. I'm just going to randomly pick one because it will always prove my point. There you go. Yadzia. I don't know how to pronounce this. Yadzia Kosik. I don't know. I'm not even going to try. But Winged Hussar Captain, as you can see. This is a good way of displaying it. You are, of course, this is the Commonwealth. And look at that. This is such a lovely model. It's so well designed. It shows her off brilliantly. I think it's fantastic. And this is my biggest problem I've ever found with Warcradle games. And it sounds so petty, it's unbelievable. Is that when I'm choosing a faction or trying to play a new game, I'm like, ooh, what do I want to play as? Let's have a look. I don't know anything, but let's look at the models. And we'll go to, let's have a look. Number 4. That was just random pick, by the way. We want to make this as random as possible. There you go, Outlaws. Dead or Alive Posse. And this is for the Outlaws, as you can see, because you've got the little symbol there. A good way of displaying how it should be. And once again, you have fantastic looking models. The reason for choosing any Warcradle game, the hardest part I've always found is choosing the models because they all look so good. These are fantastic sculpts. They're such lovingly done. This is a lovely one. It's so heroic. So she just looks absolutely badass. I love it. I think it's amazing. And the same goes for Dystopian Wars. If we go to the shop and we go down to here, let's see if we can find a nice cool looking one. There's the Flying City. Let's have a look, see which one I can find. Which look, again, it doesn't really matter which one we pick. There you go. The Enlightened Aerial Squadron. They're basically UFOs. Once again, you can see it's for the Enlightened with that nice little symbol. And look at that. That just looks so nice and so cool. It's so B-movies, 1950s UFO. I absolutely love it. You know, just stuff like this makes it really cool. And the models are so nice. They all look really good. And I think this is one of the best bits about it. One other good thing about Dystopian Wars is, see the starter set, Hunt for Prometheus. This was the first one of this edition. But you'll also see there's several other boxes the same. You have 3 different boxes. And so basically out of the 8 factions, 6 of them are in starter sets. So it's going to be really hard for you not to have a starter set with your faction of choice in it. You would literally have to go out your way just to have those 2 factions. And I do, like I said, all of these models look really cool. The Empire Sky Bastion Squadron. This is the castle in the sky. There is a bigger model as well, which is literally a city in the sky. Once again, it's so lovingly detailed. They're really nice put together. And I just think it's something else. And to now talk about the actual quality of the models as well. The quality of these models, we'll go to Wild West Exodus, is so good. And I'm going to sound a bit of a I'm going to sound a bit condescending here, but I do apologise. I'm not meaning to, because this is something I've seen with this company so many times. But if you make something like the Drum of the Nautilus, this is quite a large model. It's a resin model as well. If you were to make this model, and you were to have gaps like here, that's not a gap, that's actually part of the model by the way, or here. If you were to have any gaps in this resin cast, that's on you. And I'm not sounding I'm not meaning to condescend to you. I mean it. That's on you. These models always fit so well together, they end up feeling like this pure lump of resin. And I think it's brilliant that they do that. I think having these models so well sculpted that when you do put them together, they look and feel there's no gaps. I just built Mr. Ears. He's quite a large model, and there was no gaps at all. And if you see a gap, I guarantee you've missed a little bit of when you were cutting on the resin off, and that's it. I've had to do very little straightening of the resin. I think I've had to do that once. Of all the resin models, even with long parts, I think we only had to straighten out once, and that's it. They fit so well together, it's not funny. The plastic feels a lot better, it glues a lot better. I've dropped 40k miniatures and Mantic miniatures so many times, and I've had to re-glue them. Because I'm clumsy, I've dropped plenty of Wild West Exodus miniatures in plastic, and I've never had to re-glue a single one. Ever. Anyway, so that's my view on Warcradle. Like I said, it was going to be a gushing video. I am very biased towards Warcradle. They are my favourite company. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Their models are superb. I still think they're the best models. And I just think they're fantastic. And I do think you should go and play their games. And yes, I am showing off Wayland Games because it's where they actually sell most of them, because they own Warcradle. Warcradle owns Wayland Games, one of the two. So this is their main shop, and this is why I've shown it off. It's also one of the reasons I actually have Wayland Games as an affiliate down below, because I want more people to play these games. And the model, like I said, the models are better. The rules are fantastic. The community is absolutely great. It's one of the best wargaming communities ever, because anyone just talks about the hobby, and that's all they talk about. They're showing off their models. They're asking about rules. They're talking about their favourite parts of the lore. It's just really, really cool, and I love it. And I think you would do well to start getting into this community and talking about it, and enjoying this game. It's one of the best. It is the best game. Wild West Exodus is the best game I've ever played. It's so much fun. But like I said, this is from a bias. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you have a good day. And of course, there is a link to Wayland Games down below should you wish to purchase some Wild West Exodus or Dystopian Wars. I prefer Wild West Exodus because of the scale. That's just my opinion. Down below, free delivery after £20. So basically, you will pay £22 for this guy and nothing more. If you get this guy, you're paying 22 quid for him. You're not paying for extra delivery cost, which is cool. Then there is also Forbidden Planet comics, DVDs, mangas, all that other cool stuff. My merchandise, stickers, stickers, books, stickers, notebooks, t-shirts, what everyone else does. And there is my comics as well. If you want to see Little Red Riding Hood go ham on some cyborg werewolves. And Skyforge, give the guy a click. I don't get paid for him, but I do want him to get more business. And finally, Patreon, because I have to. Business stuff. Bye.